Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Redbeard. It is a damn fine day. Talk about a book, and today we are here for Beard Book Talk. This is my weekly wrap up where I show you what I read, what I got, what I'm going to read. I had a good week. Didn't really get through a ton. Got through a couple books, but I'm working through a bunch at the same time, and I got really far. So like, there's like three books that I'll be finishing probably in the next couple days. Anyway, the stuff that I read, and I didn't do this last week. I got so wrapped up in the fact that I went to Dollar Book Swap in Dayton, Ohio, and had like 60 books to come here that I didn't really do and also I was doing my end of the month wrap up. I didn't come here last week and do one of these. So anyway, there's probably some books that I finished in there that have already been, pushed off the table, off the desk, so to speak. But last week I did finish Wonderland by Zolja Stage. It was all right. I mean, high twos, low threes. Um, just didn't really love it, but nothing wrong with it. I did it in audio. It's my first stage read. I had seen Baby Teeth, like that was the one that kind of put her on my radar, but I kind of missed on that one. And I picked up a couple of her books in like eBay buy two get one free type things, and kind of sat them aside, knowing that I was going to do them in audio. And so yeah, I mean, it's a story about I think there's a review for this up already, but it's a story about a couple that, leaves New York City for upstate New York and all the horror that ensues from moving to the country. It says it's Shirley Jackson meets The Shining, which that's a big claim, right? It doesn't reach that for me, but it was all right. This is Wonderland by Zolja Stage. I read Bright Dead Things by Ada Limon. This is poetry. She is, I believe, the 24th poet laureate of the United States. I didn't love this. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't hate it. There are a few poems in here that I really liked. My wife absolutely loved it. It seems to be a pretty well received book on Goodreads. Kind of looked at that. I mean, a lot of 5-star rankings. For me, I gave it three. Stuff I am working on. I'm working on The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Sorry about that. This will be my third Pressfield read. I've done another one of these productivity, creativity, self growth type things. I think it was called Do the Work. And I recently did his book, Gates of Fire, which is historical fiction about Thermopylae 300. But I'm really digging this one. This one is pretty awesome. It's kind of, it's a lot like the Rick Rubin book that I loved, The Creative Actor or whatever. But anyway, I'm really digging this. And I'm very close on that. I've kind of stopped reading it. Like I didn't read it all weekend because I knew I'd finish it, and I'm at a point where I've got a couple books to review, so I didn't want to really, anyway, push through that. So, All the Light We Cannot See, Pulitzer Prize winner, I don't know, 2014, 2015, I think 2015. This has been really good. And I'm pretty close on that one. It'd be like my roughly 11th or 12th Pulitzer book that I've done this year. And I'm doing the remaking by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is my current audio. I'm also very close on this one. And this is, probably going to be a 3-star horror novel. It's about an event that happens in 1931 on like a witch burning type situation, and then a movie that's made about it in 71, and then a remake of that movie in 95, and then at the end here we've got a podcast kind of going out to visit the site and kind of I guess bring all the things that happened at this place back to the surface. So it is called The Remaking. And so that's the stuff I'm working on. I'll be finishing all three of those. What I did not do is highlight what I was going to be reading next. I think so. When I finish this, I'll have 2 credits left, one on Audible, one on Everand. I think I'm going to do a classic because they're free and because I am going to the beach for a week later this month, and I kind of want to have a couple credits available to me. I don't want to be doing these classics at the beach. And like I said, at the beach for me, I try to read but I don't get a lot of reading done at the beach. But I am going to sit in a beach chair and stare at the ocean and drink cold Michelob Ultra. I'm not sponsored by Michelob Ultra, but some cold Michelob Ultra, and because I got to watch my carbs, damn it, and listen to some audiobooks. So after I finish the remaking, I'm either going to be doing The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, or I'm going to be doing Huckleberry Finn. I did Tom Sawyer last month, I think. So it's going to be one of those. Maybe. I mean, I might change my mind and go on into when I finish All the Light We Cannot See. I'm not sure. I have thought about going straight into another Pulitzer winner, which would be The Orphan Master's Son, is the next one I've got, or it's probably going to be I got some horror over here, maybe Anya Alborn something. So, and then when I finish The War of Art, probably going to be reading because they're right there. Maybe Awareness, either Awareness by Anthony DeMillo or Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. Those are the ones that I've got over here on this month's TBR. So, stuff that I got, I actually we went out this weekend. We didn't like go to well, we went to a lot of bookstores, but we didn't go like on purpose. Like it wasn't like last weekend when I went to Second and Charles and then the Dayton Dollar Book Swap or whatever. But we did go to um Lexington on Saturday, which is about an hour away, but it's where we kind of do our I mean, if it's anything outside of Walmart, that's where we generally go. And I went to Half Price Books. I went to Barnes and Noble. Went to a Goodwill. Went to a Dollar Tree and found a book. And then I've got some stuff here that I've been picking up on eBay because I'm slowly, like I said, adding back to the collection stuff that I've read and liked. I've um I've been going out and getting maybe a couple books here and there. So at the half price books, it was kind of a drag. My wife was getting her nails done, and so I had a lot of time to kill in there. And I mean, I would been in there 10 minutes, and I'd hit like the vintage stuff, the horror paperbacks, the horror hardcovers, and there was really nothing that I wanted or needed or couldn't leave behind. I went back to the discount shelf, and there was nothing. I did grab a couple graphic novels, but there was nothing really back there either. So whatever. I got Planetary. Um, is this Warren Ellis? Yeah, by Warren Ellis. I've read this, but it's a volume one, $2. I grabbed that, and then I picked up Maniac of New York, The Death Train. This is an aftershock comic. Uh, Elliot Kalan and Andrea Muti. It was $2. It looks like horror. I don't know. I kind of opened it up outside and tried to start reading it and wasn't digging it, but again, it was $2. And then the only regular price book I got was My Best Friend's Exorcism. I've read this, didn't own it, needed a copy for the shelf. I really liked this book back when I read it. This is Grady Hendrix. Right? Maybe I've done like three of his books, I think. I know I did Horror Store, which I really, really liked, and this book I really, really liked. So I think there was another one, but I can't remember. I didn't do like the Southern Guide to Slaying Vampires, or I don't know. Anyway, I went to Barnes and Noble, and while there, the half price books first, kind of a drag, and then Barnes and Noble, things picking up. This was the $5 book at the Starbucks. I have not read this. Mapping the Interior, very short one by Stephen Graham Jones, but that was cool that the Starbucks book actually was in my wheelhouse. And then I let myself pick up this floppy leather of Jekyll and Hyde. I've read this. I didn't own a nice copy. If you know me, I really like these $15 floppy leather bound Barnes and Noble editions. So I grabbed that. And then went to Dollar Tree. And at the Dollar Tree, they had Reluctant Mortals by Gwendolyn Kiss. This is book about it's a horror novel that looks at two men, Mr. Rochester and Dracula, and the two women who survived them. I read a book of hers called The Rust Maidens probably 3-4 years ago and liked that one. So it was kind of again cool to find something in my wheelhouse for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. And then so I picked up a copy. So I went to a Goodwill, picked up a copy of the autobiography of Malcolm X. I've read that. Needed a copy for the shelf. Picked up In Other Words by Lahiri. I've read, I think I've only read Interpreter of Maladies, maybe the namesake. But anyway, I picked that up, and then I picked up this vintage hardcover of Du Maurier, The House on the Strand, the author of Rebecca. So I grabbed that. And that is really it from the Saturday book browsing stuff. So let's see what we got here. All right, so stuff that came in the mail. I did a buy two get one free, mostly because of this. I needed this for the shelf. It's a book club edition, but whatever. So I did a buy two get one free to get that, and then in doing so, I picked up The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling and The Changeling by Victor Laval. Recently did Lone Women by Laval. Probably going to put both of these on the TBR. I haven't read either of these. I haven't read Starling at all, I don't think. I really, really wanted to read The Descent a few years ago and just kind of missed it. So I knew that, I mean, I don't really anticipate. I'm not like waiting patiently really for any books to come out. I know that Stephen King has a new one out. I'm excited about that. Someone will be buying that for me for Father's Day. I've had to walk by it on the shelves multiple times and not grab it for myself. But I was really excited about this book when it came out. And so I went out on Pango and I picked up a copy of this. So I'll be reading this one fairly soon. The last one, At the Wedding by Jason Rekulak. And that's because I read both of his other books, and I picked these up this this week. So I got a copy of Hidden Pictures. I loved this book when I read it. I picked it up, kind of got me out of a slump. This is a really really cool horror novel. So I didn't own a copy, so now I do. And when I read this one, he'd only had one other book he'd written, and I went back and picked up another copy of this. But I've read this one too. So this is The Impossible Fortress by Jason Rekulak. I think I was 4 on this one. I think I was 5 on Hidden Pictures, or maybe high 4 on Hidden Pictures, low 4 on this one. But really have enjoyed his work, and I'm excited to have picked up his new one. And then I got Recursion by Blake Crouch. I loved this book 5 or so years ago when I read it. It's definitely, I don't know, like I'm getting close to doing a top 20, top 10, top 5. It's definitely in my top 20, maybe gets close to the top 10. I don't know, but I really really loved this book back when I read it. It's the only Blake Crouch I've read. I need to do some more, but yeah. I think that's it. That's everything I got, everything I'm working on, everything that I read. Um, Appreciate you being here, and yeah, so I'll be here for a couple more weeks, and then I'm going to spend a week at the beach, and that's going to be awesome. Uh, so anyway, I hope you have a fine day. It's Monday, sun's shining. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.